for this video is that we can put aside judgments and assumptions and maybe our ideas of what homeless youth are made of, and really listen to their stories, to their histories, and to the things that got them to where they are. There are many different stories and many different backgrounds and histories, and not one way to solve the problem. I think the most important thing is that we hear from them directly with an open mind and an open heart, so that we can come together as a community and hopefully be more supportive and more helpful.
Was working at the bowling alley and I had called in sick, and my supervisor said that I no longer worked for her, and so I had a hard time finding a job after that, and I ended up losing my apartment, and I didn't have anywhere else to go, and I had went to a shelter, but being a younger female, it was really uncomfortable. Just a lot of older guys hitting on you, and just a lot of things like that I had never seen before, like drug use and all that was going on, and I just didn't feel comfortable. So I came out to the streets where I knew somebody, and it's been a struggle ever since, but it's more comfortable than being at a shelter.
When I was 17, me and my mom got in a big fight, and I guess it was over something stupid. It was so long ago, I forgot. So it was to the point where I had to leave, so I chose to leave on my own. I thought maybe if I saw the world, it would be better than being there. So I just took off.
I had a job and I was paying a lot of the bills at my mom's house, and then I lost it, and we got in a really big fight and she kicked me out.
Pretty much my mother passed away when I was 15 and I was put into CPS custody. I spent a couple years there just bouncing back and forth between group homes and a place called Vision Quest Elfrida, which is basically a boot camp. When I turned 18, they pretty much just had nowhere to put me. CPS was underfunded or whatnot. So they ended up putting me on the streets, and I've had to struggle since.
Earlier, I moved up here with a boyfriend. Thought everything would work out. Yes, things do change, and my eyes have opened since then. And trust me, I've learned a lot in the last 5 months that I've been out here, because this is the first time I've actually been homeless in a city.
Yeah.
Not in a...
When I was 17, I had a car, a house in Marana. I had all kinds of stuff, and then I was married, have 3 kids. Started doing heroin when my best friend died. Started out with a lot of pills, moved to heroin, and lost my wife. She cheated on me and left me. My parents do foster care, so I can't stay with them, so I'm kind of just stuck out here.
Lost one of my jobs because my son was sick and I had to tend to him. So I lost my job, and then I lost my apartment. We moved in with my grandma for a little while, but it didn't end up working out living out there. And I had to send my son to live with his father's aunt. And then I sleep out on the streets now.
I became 17 and pregnant, 2 months pregnant at that with a baby girl, which I actually had a month early. My daughter was very sick in the hospital, and after a long time, I was switching from my family to my daughter's family, and then CPS, when my daughter became 9 months old, took my daughter from me, which really hurt me, which caused me to do a lot of good decidable decisions. And I decided to drop out of high school, not do things for my daughter, and I decided to not be at home, which caused me to actually be homeless my very first time. I was homeless for a month and a half, and I had met a lot of people downtown who helped me go from day to day to eat and shower and do what I did need to do to get my daughter back. And I was terrified that I was never going to get my daughter back. And I finally made it to a house, and I made it to my biological family. And then I met a boyfriend, and my grandma kicked me out the house.
I became homeless at the age of 16 because I disobeyed my mother. And I used to throw shoes at her, and I learned my lesson the hard way. And I got kicked out to a foster home and ran away. And been sleeping under bridges since then, in and out of jail.
Back when I was 16, I'll be 23 here on the 25th of August. And when I was 16, I started using heroin real bad because I was hooked on pills, pain pills. So I became hooked on heroin. I would snort it, I would smoke it, I would do it however I could do it. First time I injected it, that was the last time I ever tried to snort it or smoke it. You know what I'm saying? So I did that for about a year or two. And then I went down here, downtown to it's La Frontera, the Hope Clinic, and I got on methadone, so now I'm on methadone.
It's kind of weird. I lost my apartment because I didn't pay my rent, and I haven't had help from anybody, just myself. And yeah, so that's how I came out here, and I ended up pregnant, so yeah.
I became homeless when I started smoking weed about 14 years old. There was one day that my sister had come downstairs in my room, and she started asking me all these questions, and I thought I could trust her, you know, and I didn't know that she had a device on her that you could hear people talk to another area. And come to find out, my dad was outside in the shed listening to the whole conversation, and I had been telling her, yeah, because I was working at the time too with a friend, and they was the ones who introduced me to the drugs, so it's like, I'm gonna try it out. So I did. I told her what I did. I was smoking weed. That's what I first started out with. And she asked me if I was doing this and that, and I told her, yeah. My dad came inside the house, and he yelled my name, and it made me come upstairs and start asking these questions. And I was scared because, you know, I didn't have nowhere else to turn to and go. So I started lying to him. And I told him, well, no, I wasn't smoking no weed. I was smoking cigars. You know. So my mom started talking to me, and I can't lie to my mom, you know. Me and my mom were pretty close, so I told her, yeah. They rolled it up in a wrap, a cigarette wrap, and I smoked some weed after I got off work. And he told me I had to leave the house. I had to get all my shit and leave. And not too long after that, I lost my job. I kept on getting harassed while I was at my job, and one day I just had enough of it, and I snapped at this dude, and I lost my job, and from there, my mental health part of my life has gotten worse. You know, I've been put in mental institutions, put on all these weird medications, and at the same time with taking these medications, I can't stop smoking the drugs. Because I take the medicine, but it don't help me. Because I got depression and all that, you know. So basically, I'm fighting it on my own.
I was a little rebel kid, so like throughout school, I was like ditching school all the time, and then I guess when I grew up a little more, I realized like there's a whole world out there, you know, and started staying out all night, staying away from home. And then finally when I realized that my parents, like, I tried to run away one time and they didn't even care. I stayed gone for like 2 days and came back and they were just like, whatever. I was like, dude, I just ran away from home, you know? It was all hard and they didn't even care. So I was like, all right, hit the streets.
I was in CPS, Child Protective Services.
Was that for a while?
I was there from 15 to 18. And then when I turned 18, I was on the run a lot, so they kind of just booted me out and said, well, you're on your own. So I was on my own.
I went to jail when I was a youth, 17 to about 18. I got out and I lived with my mom. I was going to Empire Beauty School. And that lasted about 6 months until my father died. And my mom moved away, moved out of state with my 2 little brothers. And I became homeless after I got kicked out of one of my really good friends' house because his house got raided. And I've been on the streets for 9 months, almost 2 years, and I've been struggling ever since to find a job.
It's about 8 months ago. I was living with my mom at the time, and she had emphysema, and she was getting sick. And she had died basically on the weekend, and she had signed me over her trailer that she wanted me to basically have some place to stay where she passed away. I wouldn't be on the streets. And when she passed away, the management of the trailer park came out to basically evict me because they didn't want me there after having a marijuana charge a year prior to that at the trailer park. And they told me that if I wasn't able to leave, that they would take me to court and, bring up all kinds of fees and stuff. And, if I wasn't able to pay it, I wouldn't be able to take the trailer out of the park. Well, they went to take it to court, they won their case, and they came back to me and told me that they had a $1,200, payment fee that had to be paid off. And I told them I couldn't afford it. And they said, well, if you sign the trailer over to us, we'll quash the whole payment thing. Well, I signed the trailer over to them, and they came and, locked up the doors and stuff. And I basically took what I had on me and came to one place I knew that, seemed like second home to me, and that would be the bus station, the Tacoma bus station up here.
Various charities, churches, we go through the trash sometimes to get food, leftovers, ask restaurants at the end of the night if they have any leftovers that they can spare.
There's the Z Mansion. At night, at 7 they do soup, and then every Sunday they do breakfast, so tomorrow, and then you can take showers there as well. And they do bag lunches.
I do have some family that does help me with food. Panhandling to, go to McDonald's for their dollar menu to eat a meal. Going to churches, and there's organizations that do help you eat.
I get food stamps, but being on the streets, you can't really cook food anywhere. So you're stuck with like Circle K, and they go by really quickly.
There's this place, they help youth, basically. It's stand up for kids. They give us bags of food, they give us hygiene. And then there's, of course, soup. They show up almost every day. There's CCA. There's a lot of places that we can feed at. They just, the same times that other places are feeding is the same time you want to go to this place. So you got to choose which one to go to. But, it's cool. There's Z Mansion every Sunday. You can take a shower, feel clean. You can listen to music. You can get food to go, and you can eat 2 meals and clothes, and they'll doctor you and take care of your animals. It's cool.
I sleep under a bridge. It's where I found is the safest, driest, warmest. It blocks a lot of the wind. It blocks all the rain, actually. And nobody messes with my stuff. I leave my stuff there all day, every day, and it's fine.
Yeah, I sleep behind a park near the railroad tracks.
My boyfriend and a friend of mine, and we'll stay at the park, or we'll ask family for money or raise enough money to stay in a hotel. I do stay in shelters. Some family do let me stay the night. It depends on how the day went.
A lot of the time it takes a few weeks. There's some places where you can take showers, but it's like a 1 day a week thing.
I'm all around, man. Like, I got some family I stay with about, like, I can go to like once a week. You know what I mean? I can stay with them, wash my clothes for a couple days. But you know what I mean? Then they're like, all right, you gotta go, you gotta come do something. And I come down here and stay under the bridge and in the freaking tunnels and the washes. The other night I stayed in a freaking abandoned trailer in this trailer park.
At night, sometimes I'll stay like, I'll stay out here. I'll stay at a park. I'll stay, if I can, if there's beds, I'll stay at a shelter. You know, sometimes I'll find a nice friend that's willing to tell me, oh, come sleep on my couch. But you can only stay there for so long. You know what I'm saying? You can't stay there. You know, they get tired of you. They don't want you there all the time, you know?
I live in an abandoned house, but it does have electricity. It don't have a stove. It has cold water, so you gotta get used to taking showers in cold water. It's not a place to be, but it's a roof over my head, bed, and sleep under the bridge. You know, I sleep under the bridge and behind dumpsters. It's no fun.
I actually made the decision to start camping out because I didn't want to be a problem to nobody, and I felt like everybody was just, saying bad things about me. That I was lazy, that I didn't want to do nothing, but the entire time while I was camping out in Benson, I was selling firewood, I was, cleaning yards, I was doing what I needed to do to make money, to eat,
Actually, sometimes it's really hard. It's hard to find a place to actually feel comfortable and safe where the cops won't mess with you, where, it's hard to find food. It's, you sit there in Spain to try to get money because, it's kind of hard to get money. And people tell me, why won't you get a job? And it's kind of hard. People don't want somebody that don't have a GED, that's homeless, that that's dirty.
The reason why we're here is because this is really tough place to sleep in. This, as you can tell, is pretty cluttered. It's usually like somewhere where people usually go find shelter if there's any, like, if it was a cold at night or if there was a place good enough for them to sleep. It's not much to look at. There's a lot of stuff around here that looks like this might have been inhabited, well, not too long ago.
This place isn't any better because anytime when the monsoon comes, there's a wall of water that will come flying through here.
Yeah. There's always
I'll be floating away on my bed and shit.
We've been talking about we're gonna get a shovel and shit and take all the sand out, but
wake up to some inches of water around you. Everything else is wet. Can you say it again?
A lot of us have mental issues that we can't set shit up right. We can't put it in the right steps.
Is there a lot of kids out here with mental problems?
Yeah, of course there is. Some of us have
I
drug
got
issues.
post-traumatic stress disorder, borderline paranoid schizophrenia.
Diagnosed as
I don't
bipolar,
let
schizophrenic, borderline psychotic with homicidal tendencies.
I don't let that hold me back,
Just don't judge us about the people that are around us.
exactly. Don't judge all of us by with what one person does or what certain people do.
Don't look down on me because I'm in a lower spot than you are. You're not held responsible comfortable.
I'm not competent and cannot.
Two bike cops who have offered, like, if there's anything that they can do to help me get off the streets, to let them know. And I think it's because I'm a younger female, and they just don't want to see younger people out here. Some of them.
Most of what they've interacted with me is they just don't like us sitting on the sidewalk at all. They'll like you putting your stuff down. They'll come out here and try to find any reason to get you to leave. I have a few friends who get harassed just about daily, even if they're not doing anything.
They will stay on us looking for something they can charge us with. Just an entire day they will stay with us and follow us. Like if we move, they move with us. And they'll get us on bogus charges.
Cops don't care though. If you're homeless, you're homeless. They'll mess with you. You know, like, okay, look, I jaywalked. I got a ticket for it. Like this girl in a dress, she jaywalked right in front of the same cop. I got a ticket. Same moment, you know, she's walking by and she gets away with it because she's not homeless. And cops do it all the time, you know, like we get tickets for sitting on the ground. But if a fancy, you know, couple is sitting there, they don't, they're fine. But as soon as we sit down, excuse me, blah, blah, and then they give us a ticket or they'll be nice and let us go. And we're always going to court because of that.
I try, being homeless, I do try to be as behaviorable as I can, but you know, sitting at the Ronstadt for over 35 minutes, the police will come up and ask you, you know, are you catching the bus or are you just sitting down here to hang out with friends? So you do have to be respectable to the police and tell them your answer. And if you're sitting down there for 35 minutes, they ask you to leave.
One night, me, my dog, and my girl were sleeping near the railroad tracks, and the bike cops came and woke us up about 5:30 in the morning, and they ended up grabbing one of the girls that were camping with us by the arm and shattering her wrist because they just wanted to be dicks about it. Like, she told them that she was a female, everything, they still manhandled her. The cops treat the homeless like they're dirt, like they're not even humans. They show us no respect, constantly think we're doing something illegal. And half the time we're just trying to survive just like everybody else.
I don't know, the environment is kind of making it harder for people. They're making them be homeless and then they're telling them, here's 6 months in jail because you're homeless. Like I had a cop, if you don't have a place to go, I'll give you a place to go. Like, what is jail? A place to go? Yeah, you get food, but I could get better food on the streets.
Yeah, the public's been pretty generally nice. There are some drunks you'll find that will talk shit to you or whatnot, but generally they're pretty nice. They see that you're trying, they'll try to help out.
That's why I always have my makeup done. I always try to look like I'm not homeless because people have a tendency to think that it's something that you did, it's your fault why you're out here, and when really it's just circumstances that led to me being out here, and I seem to keep getting punished for having to be out here.
I went to a feed place and I had a dude offer me to stay in his house. So me and like my friend went and stayed.
A homeless man?
Well, he had a house, but the electric was off and everything was off. So like basically, yeah, it was in the heat, so kind of homeless. But like we went and stayed with them, me and my friend. He ended up getting drunk that night and trying to rape us. And so we took off on the cops, and cops said to stick around in the neighborhood. I laughed at him. I was like, you want me to stick around? If this dude comes out here looking for me, you want me to stick around? I was like, are you nuts? I'm not sticking around. He just watched me walk out of his house. You think I'm going to stick around for that? I was like, no, we took off. And hopped on a bus and took off. We slept in a tunnel that night.
Mainly they just try to help, and the ones who don't try to help, they kind of look down on me, like it's my fault. Like I did something on purpose to become homeless. And I could not be homeless if I had the choice.
You don't see me standing on the street corner. Can I borrow 50 cents? No, I'm holding a sign that's asking, please hire me. Landscaping, car wash, house cleaning, anything. Because of the fact I don't like asking for money. Because people look at me like I'm a piece of crap. I'm not a piece of crap. I have self-esteem. I have confidence. I don't want to have to live off other people. I don't.
A lot of people look at us as like scum, you know what I mean? The way we look. People make jokes about, they're smelly people, you know what I mean? But somehow we do survive.
Actually, I've gone to churches, how they're supposed to help with some like utility bills and stuff like that. I've gone to them and asked them for help. Me and my girlfriend went in and they said no because I was gay. And they kicked us out of the church and I was like, what does that have to do?
Currently, I'm trying to find a job. I've applied at over 100 places. It's hard because I don't really have a phone or anything like that, so they can't really call me, and it makes a lot of obstacles to get a job. I just want to have a normal life, live in an apartment with my son and my fiance, and just live our lives like normal people.
I think that's gonna happen by me finally being able to get a job. A good job too, not just minimum wage where I work so many hours a week. It would have to be full time.
The chance I get off the streets, I will take it. If that means getting a job, going back to get my GED, doing something to better my life, then I will take that chance. But right now, we live out on the streets. We deal with it. Yes, but for my hobby, I want to take photos. For my career, I want to cook. I love to cook. I got into Scottsdale, so I know that I can cook. So maybe if I get a job opportunity cooking, my dream will come true. I just want to cook.
This year expect to graduate because I am now a almost 3-year senior and I do need to graduate. Not only for me to say I graduated, but for my daughter. I expect of myself to get a house and a husband and get my daughter back and raise her how I wanted her to be raised, not how I was raised.
I want to go and be a film editor.
Really?
Yeah. I like cameras. I like being the person behind the camera.
Yeah. Instead of on the camera.
Well, I just signed up for GED classes, so I'm going to try to get my GED and maybe go to college. Try to get some classes done and hopefully get off these streets soon.
It's hard. I'm not gonna say that it's not, but I wouldn't give up. Because there's always gonna be that one person that comes up to you and maybe hand you 20 bucks, a pack of cigarettes, big old box of food. You never know. You don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. All you can do is hope for better.
It's getting harder every day to live the American dream. Just ask any one of these homeless teens who's fighting on the streets with the will to survive, where they learn to take in what they want and need is alright. They're making bad decisions with a toxic mind. The only way to ease a soul when it's doing crime. All they ever really wanted was a fighting chance. They just need the older ones to extend their hand. So let's plan our work and let's work our plan to help each and every homeless child in the land. Just open your hearts and you can conceive that it's better to give than it is to receive.
Just another day of living.
Why are our children out on the streets?
Just another day of living.
In a land of the rich and free?
Just another day of living.
It's a nightmare every night.
Just another
Come on, we gotta try and make this right. Sing, come on.
Another day of